Hi. So this is iZotope Plasma, and actually this is the very first example, very first drum I took, and it amazed me. Look, it works very simple. And now when I turn it off, it's almost like something is missing now, because actually those frequencies missing in the recording were magically filled from the bottom up by some kind of distortion. And you can actually switch the plugin into delta button, so you can now hear what's being added. And also you can set the range, so if you don't like the super low distortion here, you can just filter it out. So you can use it on drum loops and also as a mastering tool, maybe as a pre-mastering saturation tool, but there are also some nice profiles for vocals and other instruments. Let me demonstrate them to you. So this is for vocals.
Yeah, talk with that where you going do it. Cause you got other niggas in your phone too. I got people I will never go to. I just wanna have you tonight, yeah. Tonight.
So this is being added, and you can be even more precise with shorter envelope times. Let's listen one more time before.
Yeah, talk with that where you going do it. Cause you got other niggas in your phone too. I got people I will never go to. I just wanna have you tonight, yeah. Tonight. Have you tonight, yeah.
And I guess it sounds pretty nice. And of course, for darker vocals, you can go for vocals deep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it still makes the vocal more pleasant, more present, and it sounds really musical, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
So basically, it has some profile inside, and it analyzes the incoming signal. And if the signal is very dark, it will probably add some harmonics in the higher end. And if the recording has very little in the middle, then probably the middle frequencies will be filled up with some kind of saturation or distortion. And it's best demonstrated on actually on mixes. So let me show you one example here. I guess that the perfect amount of saturation is somewhere in between. I guess the plugin is tuned that way that if you set it at 12 o'clock, then it is just, estimated right amount. You can go further, and I exaggerated in my presentation so you could clearly hear how it works, but basically it works best with the saturation in the middle. So actually it adds a lot of in the middle. But of course you can use it on stems and on separate tracks. I'll start with saturating this vocal. So it's much brighter and fuller, different profiles. And let's move on to the keys now. So actually lots of body is being added to this piano, and other things like percussion, it just depends on which element is dominating. And I guess the snare is dominating here, so I added a little bit of saturation here and there. So it's much brighter and has a bit more presence now. And this one was tricky because there is bass and piano here. Let's listen in solo. So actually lots of saturation here on the verge of distortion. But it just has so much more character. And of course, drums are also saturated a bit, just brighter. And now, using this tool, I'm going to bypass and we'll be listening before and after. The nice thing about the plugin is that it also works in mid-side and transient-sustain, and I'm going to demonstrate the latter for you. So in this example, most parts are buried under the strong beat, so definitely the beat is dominating, and what we can do, we can add some sustain or saturate the sustain portion only. So look, I'm going to put the sustain in solo now. So we're listening to the sustain, and now I'm going to saturate it and also distort it. And let's listen to sustain in delta. And now in context, bypass. So I guess now the beat is no longer dominating. We can clearly hear the guitar and the vocals. And last example, let's try the mid-side mode. So this is the mid part, L plus R, so-called mono. I will saturate it, but maybe in the low, so I will choose a different profile. I just want it to sound a bit warmer. I guess this is enough. So now I can listen in delta. It's actually quite subtle and not subtle at the same time. And now I will switch into mid-side, so I will set the side in solo. So this is my sound signal. And I'm going to choose maybe strings profile to saturate it in the highs. So probably if you're listening on some mono speaker, you won't hear any difference, or you won't hear the sound at all. And now we can compare the whole processing. So actually, lots of saturation here. And it sounds smooth, it sounds like a tube saturator. So it is very nice plugin and it has a lot of advantages. It's super simple to use, it sounds very musical, it's never sounded harsh, so it's a really good thing to have because it's like a real tube. When you even if you push it, you're still getting a lot of saturation, but it's usually it's nice saturation. So I guess it's very similar to my real tube I have here. I've got Freak Tube. But FreakTube adds just a little bit more of this analog oomph and the low end. Here you're also getting this super low harmonics, but they're just on, they're very subtle. So, but overall, it sounds very warm and it just fills the empty spots in your mixes or empty spots in your tracks. So I guess this plugin will be very popular. I really, really like it.